I
You
feel
look
like
great.
I feel like I'm uneven.
Well, you're
It
live
just
now, so there you go.
well, thanks for the warning. I I I'm using my phone. Well, first off, thanks for having me. And
Yeah, no,
it's
thanks for being on. I mean, this has been like a crazy couple of weeks. You and I just saw each other, what, like 2.5 weeks ago down in New Orleans, and all of a
yes.
sudden the world was basically changing hour by hour, and then we come back to basically I went into quarantine, and it's just been
Mhm.
crazy ever since, right? So I appreciate you being on here and just providing some comedy relief and just being able to give us some good because that's the best form of medicine and to de-stress. So thanks for joining me today.
I thank you. I agree. It feels weird because we were walking around New Orleans, right? And then you come back and it's straight up I Am Legend. You can't, there's no. I almost wish I was working so
Yeah,
I can get there in like 20 minutes. There's no traffic.
yeah, that's true.
It's unbelievable. I live in Atlanta, and traffic is the name of the game. So
Yeah,
some days it'll take 35 minutes. Some days it's 6 hours. So you never
yeah,
know. You never know. So I pack a lunch, a blanket,
yeah,
just in case for emergencies. It's not that bad, but it can,
it
it's
can.
a big city.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
Yeah, well,
uh,
I'm excited just to have you on and just kind of chat a little bit more about comedy and dentistry and like how did you put the two together?
um, well, I don't know. I've always had a fascination for comedy. An affinity for it, if you will, and I like funny things, and I've always been like the funny guy in
Yeah,
school, and I'm a little bit older than you, so I don't know if you remember Benny Hill. Yeah, Johnny Carson, and I failed world history in high school because I would stay up and watch Johnny Carson and David Letterman on the Late Show,
yeah,
and then the Late Late Show, of course, and so I had to take it in night school, senior year. So I didn't realize it at the time, but it was studying.
hmm,
It was studying to do stand up, which I'm lucky that I get to do. I get to go to different dental conferences, and I do shows all over the country, and it's just fun to be able to make somebody laugh, which
yeah,
is a great satisfaction for me personally.
hmm,
But the deeper thing is if you can make somebody forget about what's going on in their life
yeah,
for 30, 45 minutes, an hour, and you leave physically feeling better because you've been laughing, you're a little bit more
yeah,
oxygenated, and you can laugh at my dumb stuff instead of dealing with your own. So I
yeah,
think that's a nice thing to do for somebody else, and ultimately is kind of what motivates me. Like I can have a mediocre show, and
hmm,
people go, no, it was good. But if I don't feel like I got enough of the audience, I'm not satisfied. I gotta
yeah.
do it again. So, but
Well,
it's an amazing drug. It's the best drug in the world, I
yeah.
think. Yeah.
Well, I've seen you a couple times. I saw you on Stand Up Nashville. When was it? Last night or the night before?
Friday night. Yeah, it aired Friday night. So yeah,
And
that was
you
pretty good.
killed it. You were hilarious. And I saw you at Delivering
Thanks.
Wow, Smiles at Sea. Like you've just kind of, you just came out of nowhere and have been taking everybody and TV shows and everything by storm. And you have your own podcast too.
Sure. Yes. It's me and another hygienist. I'm a hygienist, as you know, and her name is Sandy Lee. She's super super funny. She makes me laugh, and we giggle like two idiots, and while we're recording, and we hope that other people listen to it and laugh along and can forget about the seriousness sometimes that
Yeah.
as adults that we have to deal with. I remember reading somewhere that the average 7-year old laughs 500 times a day, and the average adult is less than 20. And I'm like, that's
Amazing.
500. You would be a little crazy, maybe that might be a little bit much, but we can up those numbers for sure.
Oh, for
And
sure.
yeah, I think life is too short. You got to laugh because
Yeah.
it's a little heavy right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
How are you holding up?
I mean, like you said, it's been a crazy couple of weeks. Like 2 weeks ago, we were down in NOLA and then coming back, and basically the world just kind of changed overnight. And it's definitely been a stressful couple of weeks here for us at Stream Dental HR. And just, I mean, the toughest thing to do is helping a client make that terrible decision to close their doors and to lay off their team, right?
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
definitely been a hard 2 weeks of just nonstop with that. So I know for me and for our team, it's been a long day, long couple of weeks, but every time that I get to talk with you, I'm always doing some belly laughs, and it feels like I've done like an hour workout for like
Good.
days.
Good. I need to find somebody who makes me laugh, because I can totally use the workout. Yeah, well, I just want to say real quick, you murdered it too at delivering Wow.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
I got to be honest with you. I caught the tail end of your presentation, like the last 30 minutes or so, and you're so eloquent and super intelligent, and
Yeah.
not that I had any doubts, but I'm just saying, I just
Yeah.
wanted you to know that it was plainly obvious, evident that that's where where you were coming from. Solid information, delivered
Thank
fantastically.
you.
So I think you
Appreciate it.
murdered it. I think
Appreciate it.
I maybe even complimented you while we were down there,
Yeah.
and then I sort of took it back with an insult. So I don't.
Yeah, you said I was like a a smart. What did you call me again? I forget what you said.
You looked like an adult child, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. And you know how how I meant it, right? So, and
I get that
because
a lot. I'm short. If people don't know, I'm pretty
that's
short.
all, that's and it was a very it was the nicest short insult of all time. I have you remind me of a good friend of mine, and she's you know um statutorily challenged also,
Yeah.
and I remember one time we were talking about we were stuck in the dark room. You remember the dark room?
Oh
That's a
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I haven't seen one in years, but we've been at this company a long time, and I'm helping to put something up, and I go, you know what? They shouldn't let people that are under 4'11",
In the dark room.
work, right? Stock things in the dark room. And she looked at me, and I'm like, what are you thinking? They shouldn't let people over 300 pounds? Or she's like, you said it, not me. So we had that kind of mutual
Yeah.
insulty type of relationship, and it's all in good fun, and you
Oh
can
yeah.
joke around with your friends. It's
Yeah.
one of those things. So
Yeah.
if you can't tease your friends, then you're not that good friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what I can imagine is that, like, I bet you there was a lot of patients who requested to see you, because I'm sure, if I was your patient, I'd be laughing the whole time, and all of a sudden my nervousness just like went out the door, and I'm just here to see a friend, Carlos, and might as well get a cleaning at the same time.
There you go. It's funny you say that. I don't know. Did we have this conversation before? Because I did a CE about a year ago, and I didn't have this written. I have my points, and I just kind of freestyle it a little bit because it keeps it organic and kind of fresh for me. Like when I do my stand up, like I know kind of what I'm going to start with, and I'm pretty sure what my closer is going to be, but the middle, it can go in different directions depending on what's happening or how the room's feeling, or
Right.
so I try not to have it too scripted. And I remember saying that I'm not a great salesman. I'm not a good seller, you know what I mean, when it comes to selling products and that kind of thing, unless I think they really need them. I go, but what I'm good at is building relationships and making friends, and I just happen to clean people's teeth when they come to visit me. And that's kind of like my mentality when I do it, because it's not just you're coming. Well, some people it is. They just want to work. They don't care to chit chat, and that's okay too.
Right.
Whatever. Be miserable. That's fine.
Yeah.
You're totally allowed to do that. And if you want to be a hateful person, that's your right.
That's not me.
And,
yeah.
but some people come in and they want a little extra. So it's sort of, I feel like I have to perform all day long. So when I get home, I just shut up. I don't say anything. I'm just tired, just from talking and entertaining people. And then, I don't know. I think if you could do that for someone else, and that's a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
And some people aren't funny though. And
Yeah.
some people think that things are inappropriate that are funny. Like you don't talk about politics or sports.
Yeah.
Or you got to keep it professional.
is I love comedy that's like relatable. That's like everyday life. Kind of that's why I probably love Friends and I love Seinfeld because it's just the silly things that just happen in life that you just need to laugh about. And everybody
Exactly.
can relate to it.
Life is funny if you slow down and just look at it from a
Yeah.
different perspective, like one of my go-to lines is, I see any patient and we have to do an FMX. We have to do 18 different radiographs. And they'll go, wow, that sounds like a lot. And I'm like, it does. But I go, I'm really quick at it. Don't let the belly fool you. I move like a cat, like a big, beautiful Puerto Rican cat. Matter of fact, they used to call me El Gato in the streets. And they're like, what the hell are you talking about? So now they're going, someone who's that serious and that silly and that confident
Yeah.
can't be a bad person. So it
Yeah.
kind of, I try to be likable
Mhm.
and then do stuff that they don't like, if that
Right.
makes sense,
Yeah. Yeah.
I never really thought about it in the words. You're helping me write my next course, and so be likable first, and then hit them with a brick,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's sort of like let's say you have two, unique tires on your car,
Mhm.
right? And one of the ladies you work with, her son, who's just a young guy, works at a tire place, and you love Anne. Let's say her
Mhm.
name is Anne,
Mhm.
and you're just at a place and they sell tires. You know a guy, so you're gonna go. So you like her. You're gonna tend to gravitate and do business with people that you like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is all I'm saying. So
Yeah.
I try to be likable. So even
Yeah.
if I'm not around, they'll. I've had people tell me that they've waited for 2-3 months, and I'm like, that's just crazy. For
Yeah.
this, really? See
Yeah.
somebody else who can, with good eyes, and flexible fingers. You don't want this working on you. And they're like, no, 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 no. And it makes you feel good that, and you don't realize, here's another thing that I never realized how much of an impact as a practitioner that you can have on people's lives.
Yes.
You
100%.
don't realize how much stuff sticks with somebody or what sticks with people. I was with my wife at a Waffle House maybe 3-4 years ago.
Mhm.
A young man behind the counter. And the Waffle House, you ever been to a Waffle House?
No, we don't have those up in Canada.
Well, that's probably a good thing. They're dangerous but delicious. So you roll the dice. Do I need some flavor and maybe see some violence? Let's go. You know what I'm saying? You can get breakfast at all hours of the day, right? They have this thing called grits. Do you guys have grits? Have you
No,
had grits?
I've had grits. Yes.
Okay. One of the guys on the show Friday night, he talks about grits being, a concrete aggregate that if you rubbed your fist in it, you can grit punch people.
Oh my goodness.
It's an acquired taste. So we're at Waffle. I get distracted. I'm sorry. We're at Waffle House. The young guy behind the counter goes. He's looking at me, and I have scrubs on. He goes, "Are you a dentist?" I go, "No, I'm a dental hygienist, but And he goes, "I knew that was you." And then he goes, "You cleaned my teeth when I was a kid."
Oh my goodness.
And I go, "Really?" I said, "Like, how long ago?" Because the guy looked like he was 24,
Yeah.
He goes, "About 10 years ago." And I go, "Okay, well, that makes sense, And he goes, "Look," and he smiles, and he goes, "Look, no cavities, man." And he goes, "I floss every day since I saw you." And I
No
go,
way.
"What? Shut up." And he goes, "No, I'm serious." And I go, "Really?" I go, "Why?" He goes, "You told me that if I didn't floss, that I was gonna get gingivitis, and they were gonna have to do a gingivectomy and cut my gums." And I don't remember saying that.
Mhm.
And my wife looks at me. She goes, "Did you say that?" I go, "It sounds like something I would say, but I don't remember doing it." Right. The point is that I said it in a way where it was funny,
Yeah.
where I was giving them advice and telling them, asking them what to
Yeah.
do, and it stuck for and it just, so you never know.
Yeah.
You never know
Oh
what
yeah.
you say and how you treat people. I try to treat everybody the way I want to be treated. The golden rule: treat people the way you want to be treated.
Definitely.
And I think if you do that, the world would be a lot better place. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like the social distancing.
Yeah. How's that been for you?
It's good because I kind of hate a lot of people too. You know what I mean? I want to make you laugh, but I don't want to interact with you on a super personal. Hey, that sounds antisocial, but you know what I'm saying. This is something you
Yeah,
just want to be. You don't want to like. I'm kind of an introvert, so I have to force myself
that's so
to get
surprising.
over that. I have I like to call it confidently insecure. You know, I I've always been a little insecure, and I think that's kind of what makes you funny. I try to be again likable, you know, to keep the
Yeah,
bullies from beating me up. You know,
right.
when I was a kid, I had vitiligo. Well, I still have it. I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like vitiligo, right? Like Michael Jackson.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, yeah. I got it all over. When I'm at the beach, I look like a Puerto Rican panda. It's ridiculous. People try to feed me celery and stuff. I'm like, get that out of my face. Put some ranch on it and come back. Bring some wings with you. How about that? You know, be an adult. Be an adult. It's kind of faded now. I don't know if you can. Where is it? You
Oh,
see it
yeah.
like on my wrist,
Yeah.
but I have it like on my bicep and stuff. I have a spot on my arm that kind of looks like
Oh,
a
yeah.
dude walking a dog. It's like a yeah, or a guy feeding squirrels at a park. Either way, the little creature looks like. My wife goes, "How did you see that?" I go, "I was in the mirror flexing." She goes, "Don't do that. Don't do
Oh,
that."
so funny. If you didn't tell me, I would have never known at all.
Yeah, no, I got it on my knees. Well, you know, on my knees, and yeah,
Yeah.
I got it on my left eye, which is weird. Like
Oh,
when I,
yeah.
it's like if you catch me in a mid blink, you'd be
Yeah.
like, "Is that a?" Oh no, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought I saw
Yeah.
something white on his eye. You know.
So that was kind of like your coping mechanism.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I grew up in a rough town, in a rough part of town, man, and yeah, it was. You know, if you didn't nail stuff down, people were going to steal it.
Yeah.
You know, so I
So
had a
like
bunch of.
when did you just decide, hey, you know what? I'm gonna try this out. I think I've got a knack for this. I'm gonna try this out. Let's do my first like stand up.
Um, well, let's go back, shall we? To I've always been a fan,
Yeah.
and I used to go to the comedy club, the Punchline, all the time, and I won't say I worked there, but I've performed there a million times, right? And I always thought that it was some sort of it was magical almost how these
Hmm.
people can just come up with stuff and just it looks like they just thought of it on this, and that's the art. That's the tricky part is making it look like he just came up with it.
Right.
Um, and then when I realized that it was just a well rehearsed, well timed out act,
Hmm.
I go, I gotta try it. And I was 42,
Hmm.
42, 41 when I first started
That's
because
awesome.
I did not want to wake up at 50
Yeah.
and go, man, I really should have tried. I didn't, I just didn't try just because
Yeah.
fear, you
Yeah.
know, and fear will cripple you
Oh,
if you
yeah.
let it. You know what I mean? Bad relationships, bad jobs. You don't, you take the safe route, and no one. You might be safe, but you're not super happy. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah. There's nothing worse
um,
than having those regrets follow you around or the what
like
if.
yeah, no one ever said, you know, on their deathbed, I wish I was a little bit safer. I wish I maybe took a little bit more chances. You know what I mean? And so one of my buddies who we when we get together, we laugh all the time, and he's one of these guys that whose laugh makes you laugh. It's
Hmm.
infectious, you know.
Yeah.
And he made me sign up, and they called me, and I freaked out all night.
Yeah.
You know, the night before,
Yeah.
and they call me. I'm on stage, and I forgot what I was going to say.
No.
Yeah, the lights hit because the lights hit you right in the
Yeah.
face, and it's like sensory overload.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to use a mic, if you're this far from it, it doesn't work. You have to
Yeah.
be right on top of it. And there were things that I didn't know. I didn't
Yeah.
know. So whatever you thought you were going to say, out the window. And I'm standing up there like a jackass for like 5 minutes, you know.
Uh,
And finally something hit me, and I kind of just yelled something out, and I ran off, and I was just furious with myself. You
Yeah.
know, I didn't think I was going to be that nervous because it looks easier. It looks
Yeah.
easier than it
Oh,
really
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So I went back and a couple more times, and the third time I did 5 minutes, and I got laughs pretty consistently
Yeah,
all the way through.
that's awesome.
And I remember walking off the
Confident, huh?
stage, and it felt like I was gliding, like my feet didn't touch the floor, and I was just like, "Wow, maybe I can do this," you know.
Yeah,
And what's the worst thing that can happen to you is that you have a real successful set earlier on, because now you're hooked.
yeah,
Whether you're good or you're bad, now you're hooked, you know. And I remember I was with my wife and my daughter. We were downtown somewhere, and I see some guy staring at me, and I can't, I got a little nervous because you never know,
yeah,
in Atlanta. And I go, what's up, dude? Can I help you with something? He goes, you're the comedian, right? The dental guy. And I
yeah.
go, oh my gosh.
You
After
banged
the
it.
third time I got recognized, it didn't happen again for like another 6 years, So that was just a little taste, and it just I just kept chasing that monkey, man. And so it's one of those things where, but I've met some amazing people, and
Mhm.
I've gone some fun places, and again, I just like making people laugh. I
Yeah.
think life is too
Well,
short. We got to slow down and laugh
yeah,
a little bit.
definitely. And it definitely takes your mind off of things. It's just like there's nothing better than having a good laugh and just like you said, it just brings all these endorphins up and you're just like, okay, it gives you enough strength that you feel like I got this. I've got tomorrow. Tomorrow's like a more positive day. It just like gives you a better disposition and
Yeah.
you know, when I was watching you, I was just howling. Like you know how loud my laugh is, and I'm doing my best not to like scare the audience with my laugh. I was just howling. I love it when you talk about you bring up that you're a hygienist and the audience kind of goes a little quiet and you're like, I know. I know. I look like more like a bouncer like
Well, I've changed it a little bit, and I go, that I know what I go, silence and disbelief. That
yeah.
is the proper response. I know what I look like. I look like if Pitbull and Vin Diesel had a love child, and then they overfed it. And this is what he would look like. And people are like, oh my god, he's totally right. Yeah, I could say the bald head, Latino, and he's a little chunky. Yeah, so. Yeah. But you know what I was thinking.
Mhm.
People go, well, how do you come up with your material?
Mhm.
And it just like that, just real life, like that. I've been saying that. Don't let the belly fool you
Yeah.
for years. I move like a cat, and then I started adding stuff to it.
Yeah.
I go, they used to call me El Gato in the streets, and everybody knows El Gato from like Spanish class in
Yeah.
high school, right? And I was been doing it way before the Black Panther, dude. And how come there aren't any fat superheroes? I go, well, I'm coming out of the closet, not that one, the superhero closet, right? And I go, if you're ever in Lawrenceville, Georgia, and you're doing something sketchy, be on the lookout because Catman's on patrol. There you go. It's kind of like the Black Panther, except his suit's bulletproof. Mine's just spandex. Yeah. He's got running shoes on. I got Uggs for stealth. He might be running across a building or on a sign somewhere, and I'm on a stop sign about 4 feet off the ground because Catman's not crazy. Can I finish? Can I finish the story? Right? I go. So if I see something sketchy, I'll give him the Catman warning call, and then I hug the mic stand like I'm hanging on a stop sign, which is like 3-4 feet off the ground, right? And I'll go, meow, cabron, right? And I don't know why I'm cursing at him in Spanish. That's just what feels right in my soul. And if you run, you get away. Catman don't chase people. I'll just light up some catnip and be like, well, maybe next time.
Next time. I'll get you one day.
I'm more of an observe and report type of superhero. I'm not gonna fight. And then what I do is I look at a guy who's in the front row or second row, a
Yeah.
big beefy guy, big macho man, right? And I'll look at him and I'm like, sir, I will scratch you. And I'll just whisper it, but loud. And you see the guy just kind of like get uncomfortable, and I'm like,
Yeah.
relax, dude. I'm just messing with you, man. But to tell another grown man that you're gonna scratch him is just
Oh my
priceless. You
goodness.
know.
That reminds me of the other part of your skit when they were asking you to not talk so loud at work.
Oh, to whisper
Can you do
again.
that one, please? That one's really cute.
Oh,
I'm
what
already crying. I'm already crying.
it's allergy season, and I lost my voice a few weeks ago, and everything I said came out very aggressive because it was real rough, like simple stuff like open your mouth, turn your head. I was like, this sounds aggressive. I don't, I told my manager, I go, can I go home? She's like, just whisper, dude. Whisper. What can go wrong? And I'm like, look at me, man. Nobody that looks like this needs to be saying in the dental office, close your eyes. Or, shh, this isn't going to hurt at all. No, I got to get out of here, man. It is not safe for me to be here today. So all
Oh,
that stuff starts from a little tidbit of truth,
yeah.
and you just take it to a ridiculous level. So I just go on and on and on.
That's awesome. That's
But
awesome.
it's therapeutic for me too.
Yeah.
I tell the story of last summer, Father's Day weekend, that I was on stage performing, and my wife is like, I don't know if you should tell everybody. I'm like, well, it's too late. I said it on TV. She goes, yeah, well, it's out there now. Well, I had a heart attack on
Yeah.
Father's Day weekend last summer, and it was a life-changing event. And I was on stage. I was performing. I was at a theater. I was having a blast. It's a beautiful place, and I love performing there. And I just didn't feel right. I started sweating, and so once you have something that sometimes can be fatal.
Yeah.
At minimum, it could mess your health up, and you're never the same again. And I feel like I dodged the bullet. I'm fine. They had to put one stent in, but I turned that into a big closer. And
I
I
love
think if you want to catch it, you can. Can I plug the
Yeah,
channel,
of course. Please.
the podcast called Off Your Flosser, and we put the podcast on iTunes and Google Play and all that stuff. But it's also on YouTube, so you can actually see me and Sandy do our thing. But I put a copy of that set from Nashville on the
Oh,
Off Your
nice.
Flosser podcast.
Awesome.
So you can see it whenever you want. So check that out on YouTube. It's pretty funny. So I don't want to ruin that joke because it's
That's a good one.
you got to hear it, in the
Yeah.
right context. But I don't know. Just life is too short, dude.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I was losing family members left and right, and I kind of just turn them into jokes, and it's not disrespectful. That's not how I mean it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're probably old enough where, unfortunately, we've all lost family members,
Mm-hmm.
and it's real shock sometimes at
Yeah.
first, and everybody's real sad for 3-4 days, a week or two, and then at that point you're nothing but pictures and memories, and and people divvy up your stuff and split your money, and then that's it. You know what I mean? You're just a memory at this point. So for me to talk about my grandma and my stepdad in my stand-up is sort of a way to memorialize them and keep them alive.
A good memory.
Yeah, and I talk about my grandma sometimes. I haven't talked about her in a while because it was real traumatic. And my mom took it real heavy. I'm like, Mom, she was 138. I think you're overreacting a little bit. I mean, she had you when she was 69. That's gross, you know what I mean? And she's like, "That's Poppy. That's not funny," So she gets mad, and I go, she's up in heaven, Mom. She's doing good, man. All her teeth grew back. Her hips are good. She's walking upright.
Yeah.
She's at the buffet line in heaven, waiting her turn. And that's how fat I am, that I'm worried about food in the afterlife. You know what I'm saying? So I bring it back to where I say some crazy things, and then it's all because I'm worried about what the menu is like in heaven. You know what I mean? What
You're
do you get up
on your wish list now.
Well, I think I figured it out, and again, not to offend anybody, but I think if there is food, it's a vegetarian the Garden of Eden. You know what I mean?
There you go.
You know,
Lots of tail, all you want.
you see a sheep or a rabbit, they're not going to let you kill anything up there. You know,
Yeah.
might be frowned upon.
Yeah.
And how would you cook it? You know, start a fire, an open fire in heaven? I don't think so. So, so things just take this absurd progression all through the thing, and I don't know. It helps me cope. Just it's either laugh or cry, I guess is what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say. So I'd much rather hear people laugh than cry. If I'm going to see an emotional response, I'd rather see, like, if I get real stressed, like I laugh.
Yeah.
I laugh at some dumb stuff. I was at a funeral years ago with my wife, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking around. She goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "Look how green the grass is." I go, "We're in the hood. I mean, there's a burnt down building across the street, but the grass in here looks like a golf course."
Yeah.
She goes, "What are you talking about? Focus." I'm like, "Is that what I got to do? Do I got to bury somebody in my front yard?" She goes, "I swear, if you don't shut up." Because it's too heavy, dude. I can't deal with funerals, man. So I got to come out with something crazy. So
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway.
So does your wife like mostly if like some of those jokes, she'll just kind of look at you, give you the side glare, roll the eyes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Wives never think
and you write it
their
down.
husbands are funny. Not at all. We've had this conversation, and this is 100% true conversation that we had. I was telling her a joke about a unicorn, right? And she goes, "So we're driving home from dinner, and it's real foggy." And I go, "What if we hit something?" And she goes, "Don't say that." I go, "Well, this turns out, let's say it's just a unicorn." And she goes, "That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Don't talk to me." Right? I go, "Yeah, it's stupid. That's why I said it." I go, "But unicorns are magical. If we did hit one, I would just pull him to the side of the road. He'd be so grateful. He grants us 2 wishes. What would you do with your wish?" And she goes, "I wish I had a husband. I didn't believe in unicorns. That's what I wish I had." And I giggle all the way home like an idiot because she's upset over an accident that didn't happen on a thing that doesn't exist. What are you mad at? It's a non-issue. You know what I mean? Just a hypothetical. So I'm telling her this joke, which she's heard several times before as I was developing it, because it makes me laugh because it's so stupid, right? And she goes, "Is it about the unicorn and the thing?" She goes, "Yeah, I've heard it's not that funny." I go, "Do you think I'm funny?" She goes, "No, not at all." I go, "Oh my God." I go, but let me ask you this. Do you think that other people think I'm funny?" She goes, "Yeah, of course." I don't know why, but yeah, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I hate you." You know what I'm saying? Oh, but 30 years in, man, what am I gonna do now? I'm not starting over. I just gotta keep hanging with this hater, man. She used to get mad when I joked about her, but I called her a hater on Valentine's Day. I had a show that night. I brought it to the show, and my daughter-in-law goes, "He just called you a hater in front of like 300 people. Does that bother you?" She goes, "It's just jokes," and that's all. That's the only response I needed to hear. As long as she's okay with it, then nobody's safe.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think some people will laugh at. All right, let's we have some Mexican jokes and Catholic jokes and gay jokes, but as soon as you say something about the Braves or your favorite football team, and then people get kind of bent out of shape. So I try to stay in the middle of the road. I don't want to offend anybody, and but if you get offended, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's a comedy
like you said,
show.
Life's too short. We've got to be able to laugh. We've got to be able to enjoy those moments with our loved ones and share those memories. And it's just that's what life's about.
Yeah, I feel like I've been talking the whole time.
No,
when we were leaving,
you're laughing. It's good for me.
when we were in New Orleans, I had a lady come up to me. She goes, "You're really funny, but you were a little offensive to Catholics." And I go, "What?"
Yeah.
I go, "I'm Catholic. I go, well, I used to be. I don't practice much anymore. She goes, that's what I'm talking about. I'm like, what did I say? And what I said was that I had a gentleman come in with very aggressive bad breath. And
Oh, right.
then I handed him a cup and he goes, is this Listerine? I said, that is holy water, brother. Gargle deep because I'm pretty sure there's a demon living in your throat, right? Again, this is a purely made up conversation, but we've
Yeah.
all met that guy
Yeah.
whose breath had hands and it was wrapped around your face. You know what I mean? You still felt it on you when you walked out of the room. You're like, oh my God, what the hell was that? It was that dude's breath, bro. That's what it was. He had that he had that vibrant breath, And the end of the joke was like, you don't need a dentist, you need a priest.
Yeah.
I made the sign of the cross and I walked out of the room. She's like, that's offensive to. No, it's not. I don't think it is,
Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Anyway.
No, I feel like, yeah, well, like as soon as we ran into each other in New Orleans, it was just I don't know, I felt like you were kind of performing your set on me.
Well,
you were doing a couple of jokes and I just, like this whole time, I just laugh and laugh.
I think that's why I like you so much, because you laugh at everything I say, which of course I'm going to gravitate to people who think I'm funny. Why would you want to be around people who don't think you're funny?
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
Where you're like, come on, yeah, no, and they're like, Well, I had just written a joke on the plane. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he goes, dude, make sure you have enough hand sanitizer. And I go, dude, I got it up to my elbows, and I even gargled with a little bit. He goes, does that help? I'm like, I don't know if it helps, but I got a hell of a buzz. The only thing I'm catching tonight is a DUI. You know what I'm saying? So, it's so stupid. But this Corona is just... People, what happened to Corona? Now they're calling it COVID-19?
COVID-19.
So if this is the 19 version, when the 2021 drops, it's going to kill way more people. It's going to come with more features. It's like the new iPhone.
Yeah.
I told somebody this, and this was inadvertently funny. I didn't think it was... I wasn't trying to be funny, but I try to... People try to say funny things. I try to say things funny. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like with a funny rhythm.
Yeah. Well, you have
like, yeah, just because some things are just funny.
Yeah.
And I go, I think I had Corona around Christmas time, man. Like I sincerely think I did.
Yeah.
I at the time I didn't know it was Corona. I thought it was just a fancy flu. It was a flu with heels and diamonds on, you know what I mean? But it was kicking my ass, but it was still a flu, And I go, so my buddy goes, did you wind up in the hospital? I was like, no, it was like a Corona light, And I was like, that's pretty funny. I didn't think of it that way, but I was like, all right, And humor's everywhere around us, guys. You just gotta look for it,
That was a good one. That was a good one.
A Corona light. But I remember taking some Dayquil and thinking, this stuff sucks. This doesn't do anything. And the Nyquil, nothing. I was just drinking tons of water, and I eventually had to go to the doctor for some. They gave me some steroids because I was wheezing a little bit.
Oh yeah. And
I got a little asthma, and I got nervous, so they gave me an inhaler and some steroids and a decongestant. I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying I'm not horrified from this Corona. I just don't. I don't want the more serious form. And I hope I already had. I just had a little
light.
Lick on little Corona light. Little lick on the neck. From the the viral gods there. But I don't know, man. I think a lot of people, and I'm not trying to get political or super scientific because I'm neither. But more people die from the flu. Am I right? Am I crazy or?
It's just this is just so contagious, right?
Is that what it is? And it's just
people,
like wildfire.
Yeah, and people don't even know that they're carriers, and they're passing it to other people who are more vulnerable. So that's
That's it.
the scary part, right? And
Right.
I came back, as soon as I came back to New Orleans, I was automatically quarantined for 2 weeks, which I just finished today. But I was just kind of joking earlier that I've been like, ooh, I finished this, but now I've been upgraded to self-isolation, which is basically the same thing, right?
Yeah.
But it's just, it's crazy. Crazy for sure.
I read a story about a guy, I want to say in India, who refused to self quarantine, and he indirectly exposed 40,000 people
Wow.
going to different festivals and stuff like that. Like, dude, and then he eventually passed from complications of, and, they figured out later. But, dude, just, if you're not feeling well, just shut
Yeah.
it down. Stay
Yeah.
home. Get
Yeah.
your Netflix up, watch Breaking Bad again,
Yeah.
Lord
So
of the
what
Rings.
are you doing to pass the time right now?
Right now, I'm eating a little bit, and I'm trying to dial back to maybe like 8 meals a day. Not that much, but I feel like I'm just like bored all the time.
I
So I'm
know.
just in the kitchen, just looking for stuff, and
I'm
just
sure like
work.
all your events are probably canceled, right?
Oh yeah, like I had a bunch of shows cancel, and I had one, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. It was a Thursday night or Wednesday night, and they were like, we were going to cancel, but if you want to do it, we'll still. And I'm like, all right, well, let me go because I know I'm going to be locked down for the next couple of weeks. And they were like, well, I hope they send a professional because there's only like 16 of us. I was like, dude, I did a show for 2 people at midnight one night, okay? And one lady didn't speak English, and the other one was drunk. So this is a party compared to that, okay? And I don't know why these two women were there. You know what I mean? They were celebrating a birthday, I think it was, right? And they spoke English. It was they were from South Africa, so they had a thick accent. One
Yeah.
was a little bit thicker accent wise than the other one, but the guy goes, "Look, man, there's only 2 people here. Do you still want to do this show?" And this was early on. I was like, "Dude, I just drove 40 minutes for $25. I'm getting that $25, bro. Get those 2 10s and that 5. Start counting. Give me the microphone." Right? I've never worked harder for $25 in my life. It evolved into us just talking about South Africa.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did my time though. Give me my money, man. And it's so ridiculous. I'm such an idiot, man. Unbelievable. It's like the night of the heart attack. Like I was at a theater, and I get there and I'm just sweating, right? Like a suspicious amount, not just regular big dude sweat, like R. Kelly standing outside of a high school amount of sweat. You know what I mean? Like a suspicious amount. You know what I mean? Like if you're just standing there, dude, and you're pouring, something's wrong, man. Something is wrong. And I remember thinking to the audience, I go, guys, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm sweating so much. And I'm blotting off, right? I felt a little pain, like right behind the sternum. And then the first show ends, and I remember thinking, I can't get comfortable.
Yeah.
I can't get comfortable. But the second show starts. Carlos Rodriguez. So here comes Carlos the monkey again, because I'm an idiot and I don't know when to say when, And it's not the money. It's just, I just love being on stage, almost to the point where, I was murdering that night. I was on fire and dying a little bit at the same time. Just a little bit. How stupid do you have to be? You know what I mean? And I drove home, and I don't know if I ever told my wife is a nurse, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I go, babe, I think I'm having a heart attack. And she goes, you're probably just dehydrated. It's real hot and humid, and here's some water. And I go, something's wrong. So I'm pacing around the house. And she goes, uh-oh. And then next thing I kneel on the floor with my chest in the cushions of the couch. And I kind of put my head down, trying to let it go away, like trying to get weight off my chest,
Yeah.
So I took my bra off, and I was thinking maybe it was too tight. From around, I've never said that before, but that's pretty funny. and I couldn't get comfortable. So I'm moaning, and my wife goes, "Oh crap, something's up." So she
Mhm.
goes, she calls my son. She's like, "Plan Delta," and I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Plan Delta." He comes down with a little box with some aspirin and nitroglycerin in it. I'm like, "You guys had a plan for when I had a heart attack?" She goes, "Look at your big ass. It was inevitable." And I go, "What?" And then she threw some nitro in my mouth and an aspirin. She goes, "Here, put this under your tongue. Hurry up. I can't have something happen to you." I'm like, "Do you care about me?" She's like, "No, you just owe me too much money to die. I need you out there employed before COVID 2020 comes through." Of course, none of that is true. But she did have the nitroglycerin, right? She goes, "Is it feeling better?" I was like, I don't feel a thing. And honest to God, 5 minutes later, I felt like $1,000,000.
No way.
I go, "Oh, shoot. Oh, thank God that was over. I'm going to go take a shower and go to bed." She goes, "No, you're not. Take them." And my son goes, "Okay." So we jump in my car. I have a Toyota.
Mhm.
He's got a V8 Camaro, right? So
Wow.
my last ride, possibly, and we're taking the Toyota. If you've ever sped before, now's the time. What are you doing? Daddy's having a heart attack. No, I joke about it because I'm okay with it. I know I'm a bigger guy. Some people, I've had people go, "Look, man, you shouldn't make so many fat jokes." I'm like, look, for me to not address that I'm an overweight American, um, I'm in just denial. That's not who I am. It's just a thing, but it's temporary. I can change that. You know what I mean? And I have been changing. I'm down
Yeah,
a
you've
few,
lost.
about 40 pounds, but it's still,
Awesome.
yeah, I need like another 80 before I start, breaking out the shorts again. You know what I mean? So make a long story short, I walk into the hospital like I own the place. I'm like, "Hey, I think I'm having a heart attack. You guys might want to check me out." And they were like, "You think you're having a heart attack?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I know it's killing right now. Not right now, but like 10 minutes ago." And they were like, "All right, whatever, man." And yeah, and they confirmed him a couple hours later because they had to do some blood tests or something.
Mhm.
And the guy goes, "I was going to send you home, but the sweating." He goes, "You can't fake that. It's not subjective. You either
Yeah,
sweat or you don't, you know." And yeah, so that was it, man. So
that's
yeah, very lucky, very lucky. I like to call it, um, like the push that I needed, I guess, to start taking
mhm.
things seriously. Because like everybody else, people, like I said, I like to joke and make people laugh. Everybody's got stuff they're dealing with,
Mhm,
had some
mhm.
family, stuff, go on. And, my mom's a widow. And so I worry about her up in Jersey, but she
Mhm.
doesn't want to move out of there. And so there's stuff you see behind
Right.
the happy, go lucky people. And sometimes people that look like they're doing super, super well are the ones that they just have a real good
Yeah.
face in public, and you wouldn't know that things are falling apart
Yeah.
behind closed doors. So that's kind of where I am. So I try not to it's people go, "Well, don't judge," or "This is we're a judgment free zone," or whatever. But I think everybody kind of jumps to conclusions. But if you act on them, that's not good. But
Yeah.
I give everybody benefit of the doubt. And if someone's at a show, it used to bother me. I used to focus on the faces that weren't laughing.
Mhm,
And I'm
mhm.
like, and I used to try to get them and get them engaged or get them to laugh. And I realized they might be having something going on in their personal lives where they're just trying to get away from.
Totally.
They're just there because they already had tickets, or they just need to get out of the house. They
Yeah.
just so I worked with this comic. He's in his 80s now, right?
Wow.
And he was telling me about a show earlier on that he was talking to this lady and her husband, and kind of was teasing him a little bit because she
Mhm.
wasn't laughing. And at the end of the show, the husband comes up to her and he said, "Listen, man, I apologize for that, but she just got diagnosed earlier today.
Oh my
She's
god.
got breast cancer," so that she wasn't in the real big mood to laugh. So he
Wow.
wanted to apologize. Anyway, they cleared it all up. So basically, he taught me. He goes, "Look, man, just leave him alone because you never know what's going on behind closed doors." So I've always been real respectful. If someone's not engaging, I just leave them alone.
Mhm.
"Thank you for being here. Appreciate
Yeah.
you coming. Enjoy the show if you can." You know what I mean? it's for the people that want to laugh. And if you're
Yeah.
laughing and having a good time, then great. Like the show we did in New Orleans. The back third of the room, everybody was getting. They just haven't seen each other in a while.
Yeah.
Stress is high. People are chit chatting.
Yeah.
That's okay. It is what it is. It's not. It wasn't a comedy club. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but the
No.
people that were listening came to the front and they heard. And,
Yeah. I was up there. I was cheering you on. I was laughing, howling
Yeah.
away.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It was fun. It was crazy fun, and I can't wait to do it again. So any dental people,
Yes.
event planners, organizers, CE, whatever,
Yeah.
holla at your boy.
Carlos is fantastic. He won't disappoint. Guys, go check out his podcast,
Off Your Flosser
Off Your
podcast.
Flosser, and then that's where you're going to be able to see him do his stand-up in Nashville, which
Yes.
is so funny. I'm going to go ahead and watch that again because
Thank you.
so good.
Thanks.
Well, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And where can people find you?
Well, I have a website. I'm in the process of updating it right now. It's carlosrdh.com. Super creative. carlosrdh.com. That was sarcasm. But I got some links to some stuff, and there's a way to contact me through there if you want to. But if you want to just hit me up at carlosrdh or whatthefloss@gmail. Which is just, it sounds like you're saying something naughty, like what? What the floss? Okay, that's what I thought you said, sir. And, it just makes me chuckle like an idiot every time I hear it. But yeah, you keep doing your thing, dude. You're killing it, and yeah, I'm just proud to know you. And I kind of, I got to be honest with you, I'm a little envious. I have a lot of, because I'm 50. All right, I'm not a. I know I look younger. That's just because the fat's pushing the wrinkles out. You know what I mean? That's just cholesterol. It's not filler. And but I see these young people like yourself, and I got a bunch of other friends, and you guys are just murdering it. And it's fun to see. And I wish I had that kind of confidence when I was your age. I sound like your dad now. When I was your age, I was just busy about putting food on the table. You know what I mean? So I was a dad, a full-time dad, and a full-time hygienist. And now I'm trying different things, and it's a good time because I don't have little kids anymore. I am having a grandbaby in July, though. So
congratulations.
Yeah, my son.
I think the point of all of this, like you said, is just do what you do. Do what you love doing. Don't spend any more time just second guessing. Jump in, do it, have fun. Love it and make memories and just enjoy the moment. Life's too short.
I was more afraid of not trying than I was of failing at doing the stand-up. So don't let fear throw breaks in your system. Just you got to say to hell with it sometimes and take a calculated risk. But sometimes you got to just jump and hope you land on your feet. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Build your parachute on the way down.
The thing is, these times have shown a lot of people that how dependent we are on other people for our sustenance, for our food, for our paychecks. There's nothing wrong with having a second or a third small stream of income that can help bridge the gaps if something happens to your main gig. So, food for thought, I guess. I'm gonna keep telling these jokes, and thank you so much for having me.
I'm gonna keep laughing.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Great to see you again.
Thanks, Carlos.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.